of our lesson, that is the pronunciation practice. For that, I'm going to give you a news reading. First of all, you have to be familiar with the wordings. For that, you can repeat what I say. You can look at this slide and repeat when you hear. Good morning. I am Sureka Fernando. You can replace your name there. I am so and so with live at 8. Today's headlines. The Government Medical Officers Association yesterday recommended that the government stop the practice of temporarily lifting curfew in certain districts as the number of COVID-19 patients rose to 132 by 4:15 p.m. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes, then you can be familiar with these words. Okay, repeat after me. Good morning. I'm Sureka Fernando with live at 8. Today's headlines. The Government Medical Officers Association yesterday recommended that government stop the practice of temporarily lifting curfew in certain districts as the number of COVID-19 patients rose to 132 by 4:15 p.m. Let's repeat it again. Today's headlines. The Government Medical Officers Association yesterday recommended that the government stop the practice of temporarily lifting curfew in certain districts as the number of COVID-19 patients rose to 132 by 4:15 p.m. Okay, now you have to pay attention to the expressions. Today's headlines. The Government Medical Officers Association yesterday recommended that the government stop the practice of temporarily lifting curfew in certain districts as the number of COVID-19 patients rose to 132 by 4:15 p.m. Let's move to the next news. Let's familiarize with the words first. Words. Pay your attention to the S sound there. It should be is. World's highest. So when you read this kind of a news, when you read the word highest, you have to raise up your voice. World's highest wicket taker. Wicket taker. Pay your attention to this word taker. Should be taker. Muttiah Muralitharan has made a generous contribution of 5 million rupees. 5 million rupees to government's efforts to fight COVID-19 epidemic. Okay, let's read this. You can repeat. World's highest wicket taker Muttiah Muralitharan has made a generous contribution of 5 million rupees to government's efforts to fight COVID-19 epidemic. Okay. Now, again, we are going to repeat it. Pay your attention for the stress and intonation. Stress means where we pronounce words heavily. Stress. Okay, let's see. World's highest wicket taker, Muttiah Muralitharan, has made a generous contribution of 5 million rupees to government's efforts to fight COVID-19 epidemic. Okay, now let's pay attention to the expressions. World's highest wicket taker Muttiah Muralitharan has made a generous contribution of 5 million rupees to government's efforts to fight COVID-19 epidemic. Okay, let's move to the third news. Be familiarized with the words. The government of Sri Lanka and Uber are joining forces to deliver essential supplies. Remember, the S should give sound there. Supplies as a part of efforts to slow the spread of COVID-19 in the country. You can repeat after me. The government of Sri Lanka and Uber are joining forces to deliver essential supplies as part of efforts to slow the spread of COVID-19 in the country. Okay, now pay attention to the stress and intonation. So when you say Sri Lanka, you have to stress that point. Joining forces. When you say forces, you have to stress that. To deliver essential supplies, you have to force on that. Supplies as part of efforts to slow the spread of COVID-19 in the country. The government of Sri Lanka and Uber are joining forces to deliver essential supplies as part of efforts to slow the spread of COVID-19 in the country. The government of Sri Lanka and Uber are joining forces to deliver essential supplies as part of efforts to slow the spread of COVID-19 in the country. Now I'm going to give you time to practice all these three names. You can take 10 minutes. After that, you can listen to the whole news again and you can deal with the news. Hope you all are ready to read the news. Good morning. I'm Sureka Fernando with Live at 8. Today's headlines. The Government Medical Officers Association yesterday recommended that the government stop the practice of temporarily lifting curfew in certain districts as the number of COVID-19 patients rose to 132 by 4:15 p.m. As highest wicket taker, Muttiah Muralitharan has made a generous contribution of 5 million rupees to government's efforts to fight COVID-19 epidemic. The government of Sri Lanka and Uber are joining forces to deliver essential supplies as part of efforts to slow the spread of COVID-19 in the country. This is the end of the news.